Hi guys, so today I'm going to be talking about my favorite crochet tools and the tools that I use pretty often whenever I crochet my dolls, because I know a lot of people have asked me what crochet tools I use in the comments. I don't really give a super clear answer because I kind of wanted to make a video about this. So this is going to be the video where I answer like the yarns, the hooks, whatever else stuff that I mainly use for my crochet stuff. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring you over to the table. Okay, so here we are at the table and I'm gonna go ahead and just show you everything that I use. So currently, this is what I use to hold my tools on. This is like a little metal bucket that I use, and then it stores all of my scissors, hooks, pens, everything in here. I even have a ruler that I use to measure my dolls to make sure they are the same height. So I do like the height check with a ruler, and then I got some fabric scissors used to cut yarn only. So here's the scissors, and then this is like my main hook right here, which is actually my backup hook. I actually ordered a ergonomic polymer clay hook from Etsy, which has like a better grip than these little skinny hooks right here. So this is a 3.5 millimeter hook that I like to use for my little weeby dolls. They're really good size. I used a 3.5 millimeter because I didn't have a 3 millimeter hook at the time, and since I make a lot of dolls like this, I just rather keep them the same size, and I use 3.5 millimeter. You can go ahead and use 3 millimeter if you want your doll bodies to be like how it is in the pattern. Next is this hook right here. This is a 6 millimeter hook. This used to be my largest hooks, but I like to use this hook so that way I can push down the stuffing in smaller spaces, whether it's like the legs, the arms, the neck, things like that. I would use this hook, very handy to use for that. And then I also have my 1.75 millimeter hook. This is a clover hook. So right here it is 1.75 millimeters clover, which I use for my lace yarn hooks to make like tiny details, and it's really good to make like specific shapes that you want your characters to have. And a regular mechanical pencil for taking down notes, followed by a little pushing notebook where I put all of my patterns in here. After I do the rough draft in a old composition notebook, I transfer them to another notebook. So this has like all of my official pattern design stitches that I use for my little weeby dolls. They're all in here. And then I also have course stitch markers, which I like to hang on the bucket like this. So it makes it very easy, convenient. This one, 2 millimeter, or just a tiny hook that I like to use very often in my tools. It helps me create the hairs. And if you want to know how to create your own hair designs, like how I do on my weeby dolls, link is in the description box below, which also uses these same tools. Yeah, I also got a pen. This is what I use to do my rough draft whenever I write my new character designs out. And then there's also a bunch of like miscellaneous hair strands in there, which I haven't found a use for yet. And then on the side of this bucket, I use I use magnets on the side of this bucket. And then you can see here I have like large yarn needles and smaller ones. So here's this other tool that I use. It's a broken felt tip needle. It's literally a broken needle. I broke off the tip by accident one day when I was first starting out learning how to felt, and I decided that to use it on my dolls, which actually turns out to be really useful. So like, you know how you have like a yarn that's like poking out of like the doll's body, and then you have to like use the tip of your needle to like push in the yarn? Well, I found out that this tool is actually way more useful. You can actually push the yarn inside of your amigurumi, and it's so much easier. I don't know why. It's so great. I love using this all the time. Or like whenever I want to get into like smaller tight spaces, this tool is like, it's so amazing. It's not a must. You don't need to go out there and buy yourself a felt needle just to break it and then use it. But if you happen to needle felt, use something like this would be really nice. I find it just so much more convenient than the back of a yarn needle. I got like multiple sizes of yarn needles that I like to use. Of course, this is my main yarn needle right here. It's the standard bent tip needle. I also recommend using a bent tip because it's just easier whenever you need to do like different angles and stuff like that, especially for the eyes. I like to use these for the eyes. It helps so much that the needle is like pointed upwards, so that way I can poke through like the skin of the doll easier. Yeah, definitely bent tip all the way. I don't even use like the straight tip needle hardly anymore. Definitely recommend that. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to mention my favorite fabric glue that I use for my dolls is this one right here. It's called 3-in-1. The name before that was Fabri-Tac. So this is one of the ways they look, and then here's the other bottle. Same thing, just different labels, different front covers, but the same thing. I love this glue so much because a lot of people ask me if I glue on the hairs or do I sew them on. I do both, but yeah, this is the glue that I use for when I do glue the hairs on, and I also sometimes sew them on too. Recommend this brand. There you go. As for the yarns, I know a lot of people have questions about like where I get my yarn, things like that, and skin color. So most of my yarns I get from Hobby Lobby and Michaels. I buy pretty much all of the colors there, almost all of the colors there. I have a huge selection from those two stores. So if you live outside of the US, then you're just gonna have to check your local craft store and see what they have. I like to use acrylic yarn, 100% acrylic, because that's what's available in my stores, and a lot of the colors are mostly available in worsted weight yarn that's acrylic. So they're also cheaper, and I can get like a larger amount for a better deal. And this is the skin yarn that I use. I know a lot of people have asked me like, oh, where do I buy the skin yarn? I buy them £1 each for the yarn. It's from Hobby Lobby. Brand is called Crafter's Secret, and it's £1 of skin yarn. So I bought a bunch of these, and it helps me create all of my dolls. So yeah, you're gonna need a lot of that if you plan on making a ton of dolls. So this brand is just perfect because they provide £1 in their yarn skeins. Great, absolutely love it. I think it looks pretty good. Originally I was searching for a more peachy color because I think peach is like closer to our skin tone, but like this color works fine. It's more yellow and it does the job. You know, they're dolls. Dolls can come in like all kinds of colors, so it's okay. Okay, so here's my yarn winder that I use. It's called Stanwood Needlecraft. So I like this brand because I heard that it's a better brand, and I paid about like 35 or ish, somewhere around the 30-ish dollars for this yarn winder. And that's what it sounds like when you wind it. It's kind of loud. It's not too loud though, but it's pretty loud. It can get pretty noisy if you spin fast. But overall, I have no issues with this yarn winder. I like to use it a lot to wind my yarns, and it works really great. But if you have like a more chunky or bulky yarn, you should get their larger one. This is the 4-ounce yarn winder, and I really want to get their 10-ounce yarn winder. Do recommend winding your yarn if you can afford it and if you like to make yarn cakes. Okay, so now we are here in my yarn closet. This is what one of my yarn closet looks like. It's very full of like worsted weight yarns and like different colors. You can see this is how I decided to organize it, although it's kind of unorganized, but that's okay. I don't need it to be pretty because it's also in a closet anyways. This is not to be like a tour or anything, but like I have like multiple shades of red that I use, some orange. See, so this is like Crafter's Secret that I use. It's like £1 of skein that I really like to use. Here's some peach yarn, and here is one with the label on it, Crafter's Secret Big Idea. So this is what I buy in bulk. I got all these yarns down here, and this is what it looks like after a month, because like I've been using so much yarn to create my dolls. Usually it's like this closet gets really full after I restock, and I have like hardly any place to put my yarn. So yeah, I've been using quite a bit of yarn. Just kind of what my stash looks like. I prefer to make my yarn and wind them into yarn cakes. Almost forgot about that. I like to use the yarn winder because the cakes makes it so much easier rather than using it from the skeins, because they get tangled up so easily that I have to use a yarn winder. So I invested myself money for that. So yeah, this is what the cakes look like. They can be kind of flimsy, especially when you use it towards the end, but that's okay. I prefer them that way. They don't get tangled as easily, in my opinion. Multiple greens that I have. Kind of like a tour, but not really. I'm not gonna go through all the colors. But yeah, you can see I have to stock up a lot so that way I can make up my dolls and all that stuff. So okay guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my little supply video. Hopefully you find it useful, the tools that I use for my little BB dolls and my amigurumi, whatever stuff I make. I mainly make dolls, so yeah, my doll supplies. Hopefully you find that useful, and if you guys have any recommendations for tools or like techniques or things like that, feel free to share in the comments below. And what type of yarn do you buy? Like, where do you buy your yarn at? What's your favorite type of yarn to use? So far I think Hobby Lobby has really great selections in terms of like the yarns. I feel like Hobby Lobby provides a lot of the primary colors, like the red, orange. Is that even a primary color? Oh my gosh. But it provides like a good red color. Like if I wanted to use red, a lot of the reds I use are from Hobby Lobby. Or like if I wanted to use like a yellow color, it's gonna be from Hobby Lobby. So like the main rainbow colors, you know, like the 6 colors of the rainbow, I tend to use from Hobby Lobby. Like if I want to make a blonde hair, I would probably use a yellow from Hobby Lobby. So yeah, that's my favorite store. And then I also love Michaels for their brighter colors. I think Michaels has like a really good selections for their more like, I guess, pastel colors or like other different shade colors that you probably can't find at Hobby Lobby. So yeah, this is my video on my tools and supplies. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you understood everything that I said in this video. So I am gonna be going back and finishing up my other few dolls and finishing up my deadlines, and I'll be back with another video soon. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye.